Let's give them something to talk about. I see the energy running out. I got a planet to run around. Okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth. No, I don't want to be humble now. You doubted me.
Live.
Take two?
Yeah, take two. Sound systems are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, if you did hop on yesterday, we apologize for the
Oh yeah, if you were one of these 6 people that
clicked on and clicked right off.
clicked off, the sound was terrible. We were broadcasting through. You need to switch the sides too on this, please.
Oh, got it. Bingo.
We were talking the entire podcast, and when we hear it through our headsets, it sounds great through the Roadcaster because our headsets are into the Roadcaster, but on YouTube was only picking up the computer microphone.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things, and we can't really tell until after we listen to it afterwards. But the beauty of doing a second take is that we can refine the content and hopefully do it in less time and talk about the most relevant things that were interesting when we were actually
discussing
doing the podcast.
Take some of the fluff out.
Yeah. So sorry, everybody. I put out. I'll start with this one because I put out some snippets from last week's podcast relative to affiliate, what to do with the affiliate world, what CrossFit should do with the affiliate world, and handling and managing the affiliates and trying to get new affiliates on board. They have a goal, obviously, to spread the word of CrossFit and get as many affiliates on board as possible. It's a major revenue stream for CrossFit, but it's also a great way to indoctrinate people into CrossFit games, make the CrossFit ecosystem even larger. So level 1 certifications, the whole process.
Save a ton of lives.
And more than anything else, save a ton of lives and cure chronic disease, because that is what CrossFit does best. Interestingly enough, though, the way CrossFit got started and the way the affiliates got started, it wasn't about that. It was about training people for elite fitness.
Yeah. Forging elite.
Yeah, because it worked really, really well. It was GPP. We can talk about that in a second as well. But military, police, fire, those folks found it to be the most beneficial for doing what they do on a daily basis. And I think it was CrossFit Jacks. And the guy was a police captain, I believe, that came to Greg Glassman and asked him to start the first affiliate. Greg's like, well, okay.
This guy was wanting to open his first affiliate?
His first affiliate in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
And he is, or I'm not sure if he's retired now. He actually bumped into me or talked to me at the games this year. Still has his affiliate.
Awesome.
Yeah, just phenomenal story. But anyway, and then it became, certainly as we discovered over time, that it does cure chronic disease, does reverse diabetes type 2. It makes people mentally healthy and physically healthy. It's really, and then the community grew out of that, and people don't start it for the community. You'll find a lot of the OGs actually don't even say the word community. Because it's something that happens. It's not something that you create. It's something that is the result of hard work of people coming together. Anyway, so we put out some clips this week really related to what CrossFit should do. You can check those on PRsAllDay YouTube. I might put a few of them on Instagram. They're a bit they're a bit provocative, the topics that we went over last week.
Yeah.
Especially relative to who I think has responsibility for their success. And I will say that now, that I think it's 95%, 98% the affiliate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what CrossFit's about. You started an affiliate, and you started your affiliate because
I actually started my affiliate because the gym that I was is very similar to Greg's story, right? Like, he got kicked out of the Gold's gym that he was training multiple people in.
Yeah.
I basically was told, hey, you have clients that want to do CrossFit. Our facility can't support it anymore, so they'll have to go to a CrossFit specific gym. So that was like, okay, easy problem. Let's get the fuck out of here and go open up an affiliate. That was back in 2010.
That is a lot of that is a big reason. We started Diablo because there's a group of guys that wanted to get together and be able to climb 15-foot ropes and drop weights on the ground. The same reason why we started it was, and because it was an amazing methodology we fell in love with.
It's evidence-based.
Right, evidence-based fitness. That's right. But anyway, but we started it, and then when I signed my affiliate agreement with CrossFit, I knew. I mean, this was bare bones CrossFit back in the day, 2000,
super raw,
2005.
Yeah,
and I knew that CrossFit didn't have a support system. I knew that CrossFit wasn't going to be contacting me. All I wanted to do was be associated with. I want to be able to have that brand and be able to do that methodology our way, and we did. And it was up to me. I knew 100% that it was up to me to be successful or not.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the OG affiliate owners feel exactly the same way. We're not waiting for CrossFit to rescue us. Now, what we do want, and as we grew and got bigger and we got more members, I realized that the only risk that I had with CrossFit was that if CrossFit screwed things up.
Yeah.
And so so for me, it is imperative that CrossFit stays true to its original mission and values, and that they do everything they can to protect the brand so that it doesn't get ripped off by other people. And that was a problem for a while, that people would open up gyms and call them CrossFit gyms. Mm-hmm. CrossFit would go after them.
Yeah.
Cease and desist. They were more than that, man. They put the attorneys on people.
Yeah.
And they had to protect the brand, which they did also with, by essentially sending the attorneys after people that accused the brand of not being what they said it was, or that, the big one was saying that it's dangerous, which the NSCA did. And CrossFit literally won that lawsuit, got a huge award, could have bankrupted them,
could have put them completely out.
Could have. The new CEO came in and took a settlement from them.
The previous new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The previous new.
Yeah.
Eric Rosa came in and they decided to kind of put that behind them. So they settled quickly with the NSCA, which frustrated me. I understand how those things happen. You just, you want to put all that shit behind you and you want to move on. But anyway, back to my point being that I still consider it my 100% my responsibility to be successful. This affiliate successful. Yeah. And all I want CrossFit to do is make that brand amazing.
Yeah.
Tell the story of what's happening. Tell the story of the fitness that it produces. Tell the story of the lives that it changed. Tell the story of the lives that it saves. And because all of those things, the beauty of it is all of those things that are happening, all of that data that's being gathered on a daily basis happens in all affiliates around the world. And so really that's all I want CrossFit to do. Mm. Make that brand so damn amazing that it's worth it for us to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And everybody else will too. Mm-hmm. Same reasons that I joined, they'll want to join.
Yeah.
Shit, I want to put CrossFit on my door. Because I know that'll bring me customers, and I know that I'll be able to save lives.
Yeah.
I don't need someone to come in and tell me how to do my accounting. I don't need someone to come in and tell me how to organize my gym. Mm-hmm. Those resources are available through other affiliate owners, and there's all kinds of places that you can go. For best hour of the day guys do something. The Two Brain Business guys, mm-hmm. Bergeron has a program that he does. Like, there's a number of programs you can go out, you can buy. Mm-hmm. And there's also tons of information on the internet that are not specific to CrossFit that can help you do all of that. CrossFit doesn't need to be spending any money doing that shit.
The only thing that they should be doing is maybe sharing stuff via journal.
Oh, there you go.
And the journal itself that's kind of what got me to the point where I opened up my affiliate, was after, between, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Matt, coaching classes at 5 a.m. or coaching clients at 5 a.m. to like 9, and then coming back in the evening. That whole middle time was just consuming CrossFit content via journal, which got me to the point where I opened up an affiliate.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Journal was bomb.
So good.
And they are, as I understand it, they may be bringing it back.
I hope so. Because if there was anything that CrossFit could do that would help improve their brand, that would be one of those things.
That'd be one.
Yeah.
And the second one, so this, and kind of why I'm on this topic too, because I was a little annoyed this holiday. I wanted to in my weekly email that I send out, I like to put out, kind of motivational messages of things I'm reading and watching. And so I wanted to dedicate it entirely, the 2 or 3 things dedicated entirely to motivational stories from CrossFit. So I went to CrossFit's YouTube channel. And you got to dig deep on the CrossFit YouTube channel. You got to dig deep to find.
So what were you looking for?
Yeah, motivational stories. So the one I posted on Diablo's YouTube was not even a CrossFit video. It's and if you saw Diablo's,
was it like a Noble?
No, it's Noble. Thank you. I won't go there. That's a topic for another podcast
episode.
But what I did post was the commercial of the old man that goes to his workshop and lifts the kettlebell
up so he can pick
and he trains it, for the entire Christmas holiday, and then he goes over to his daughter's family's house, and he's able to lift up his granddaughter to help have her put the star on the Christmas tree. And every time I watch it, especially watch it around the holidays, I get misty-eyed, and people commented too that they, I'm not crying. It's an amazing thing. And I looked at that video, and so many people said this in the comments when the original post. I forget what company it was. It's some European company that posted this thing. But the comment, there were so many comments in it. This should have been a CrossFit video.
Yeah,
and because it really was, because he starts out his kettlebell and he trains over time, and he's able to achieve a goal. And all I can think of is when I'm posting. So that's what I posted instead of a CrossFit video. That's what I posted, and it was awesome. It's a beautiful story. But CrossFit has thousands of those stories,
hundreds of thousands,
and probably
hundreds of thousands.
And I forwarded the message on to the CEO and to the head of media, who Matt Bishel over there. Well, I don't know if he's head of media, but he's media over there at CrossFit. And I said, look, I have dozens of these stories in our affiliate. We have dozens of stories in our affiliate that we could tell. And there's, many other affiliates that have stories like these. Mm-hmm. So I posted that one. Then I posted the story of Athena Perez. Right. Who lost, I think close to 200 pounds, saved her life through CrossFit. Now she's a flow master with CrossFit.
That's awesome.
It really is awesome. And she actually created a program for working with large body athletes too.
I saw that,
which is awesome.
That is amazing.
Her story is amazing. And if you ever meet her and talk to her, just talking to her bring tears to your eyes, because she's just an amazingly kind person, and it's changed her life. And so much confidence now. But anyway, so I posted this. But my point being is that I had to dig way too deep to find those. It was buried under workout of the day videos, which I understand. Like, those are important. Yeah. Those stories need to be interspersed amongst the Forging Elite Fitness videos. Yeah. It is still Forging, and I want it to be Forging Elite Fitness. I want it to be the preferred methodology for military police fire. And as I understand it, Dave Castro is working on a deal with the military to bring it back to
after the NSCA ruined that one for us.
Yeah, to bring it back to train more military personnel.
Yeah,
which I think would be awesome, because I think that's essential. It's essentially people look to. I do, but everybody does. If you're looking for something that's good, you're going to look for the best. You know who put it best? Jeremy Jones, one of the founders of Diablo, original founders of Diablo, put it best a long time ago. The best analogy was the automobile racing team. Honda's one of the most dominant racing teams in Formula One racing, as is Ferrari, I'm trying to think of the other teams, the other cars that are in there. But Honda has a racing team, yet they sell, probably 100% of the revenue comes from just domestic cars, daily drivers.
Yeah,
but it is important to establish themselves as a leader in terms of producing the best vehicles on the planet that can beat everybody else in a race. And similarly, I think CrossFit, through the CrossFit Games and its CrossFit athletes, demonstrates that the methodology produces the best or the fittest athletes in the world, yet at the same time, through its affiliates, is the daily medicine that everyone can take to cure chronic disease and save lives.
Yeah.
So that was probably the best metaphor. Like we want it to be the forging elite fitness.
Yeah.
We don't want that to go away.
We want the tip of the spear to continue to get sharper.
Yeah. And then people will look at it and go, well, shit, if it works for them.
Yeah.
It works for the best athletes in the world, the fittest, and it produces the fittest athletes in the world. It'll certainly work for me.
I like the analogy too of like, I mean, kind of along the lines of the Formula One, disc brakes, right?
Well, yeah,
they started on Formula One and race cars.
And I think that was part of his.
And I think that is too.
Right.
That technology ends up becoming available to the general population,
right.
and then it makes everybody else safer, right? So it's the same concept here.
That's right. So as Glassman said, we fail at the margins of our experience. Yeah. The margins of our experience for fitness are at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, 100%.
And that is where they learn, they experiment, they try. We get new pieces of equipment. We have assault bikes in here because of what the athletes demonstrated is that their ability to increase work capacity.
Yeah.
It's absolutely they test, they try new things, and those things make it down back to the Gen Pop, right, where we can employ it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
that's probably even the better reason for having a race team, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, it's like your R&D, right?
Yeah. Speaking of testing,
here's I don't know if anybody's hearing what's going on out here. There's a bunch of yelling.
So they're testing their lifts outside our studio, outside our quote studio. Which pull up our studio so you can show it.
Yeah, so this is our space.
Yeah. So people wonder, like, when I turn, I am genuinely turning to Jamie Lee. We've got two different kind of backgrounds that we operate from, but standing desks, and then we move everything out of the way. The sound things we put on the ceiling, the sound absorbers, we just bought those on Amazon. But anyway, that is our studio, as you see it. And then we got a ring light and another vertical light that we use as well. But anyway, today's we're testing in the Olympic lifting class. They're testing their lifts this month. Yep. And then in the main gym, they're testing deadlifts. So we've done progressions. Well, this month the deadlift was a primary lift, and we, once a week, essentially we did the deadlift in addition to a Metcon. So 2 workouts in a class. We put that on a calendar so our members can see it, what days those are going to show up. We don't put all the workouts on a calendar. We just put the list.
Just the primary, secondary, and skills.
That's right.
And any other benchmarks that
and any other benchmarks that they might want to, because that way when people look, I think most people that have been CrossFitting for a couple of years, they like to know what's coming.
I hope you guys can hear that. It's getting wild out there.
That's not us. But they like to know what's coming, and coaches like to know what's coming when they train. So why wouldn't your members like to know what's coming? That to me is another one of those no-brainers that affiliates should pay attention to. And then they can plan their calendars around the strength days. Because a lot of people everybody likes to get strong. You get stronger. That's one of the things about CrossFit that we discovered many years ago, that stronger athletes are better at CrossFit. Like, the stronger you get, the better you are, because you can move things, you can move loads faster.
Yeah.
So strength is an important component, and we periodize strength also because our members love strength training.
Yeah.
And I think all members, people like getting strong, and we, I can go into all the benefits of strength training. Everybody knows what those are, especially as you age. But here's one from an affiliate owner, and so we're 1 month into this as a primary lift.
This is our final month,
right. Last month it was our deadlift was our secondary lift.
Strength, yeah. Yep.
So what does secondary strength mean in terms of like load and volume and those things?
Yeah, so I mean, if we really want to break it all down, we look at each training.
Not too much
phase. I won't go too far this time. Each training phase is 3 months. We got 4 training phases in a year. This training phase, we started off with some RDLs and bench press as a superset. So we're building up that hinging priority. Last month, we focused on as our secondary with more of a touch and go. So we were working more time under tension and repetition, right? As we built up that linear intensity. And then that allowed us to kind of go into a deload and drop the volume down so we can really increase our intensity to get underneath the heavier lifts for this month.
Right. So
and this whole month we focused on no touch and go reps, but singles, because we want to practice and reform, make this setup strong.
Reinforce.
Thank you. Reinforce that setup. That's been already early morning coaching. Yeah. But reinforce that setup and priority of the lift from the ground, not a touch and go rep.
Right.
And this morning I had the 6 a.m. class. I had like 7 or 8 PRs out of 12 people.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 a.m. PRs too. And something also, I mean, we talked about like we do prescribe the primary strength or a lift with a Metcon. And in this kind of environment or a primary session, if somebody happens to be focusing on the lift and want to get stronger and prioritize that lift, just like main site would program a heavy day, the Metcon can be accessory. And the Metcon is really kind of designed to be accessory. That's why we use the similar movement patterns. But with this session today, specifically, our goal is to go heavy.
Right.
So
the first month of, say, deadlift programming is almost accessory deadlift programming, RDLs and complementary movements. And then the second month is higher rep counts, touch and go with lighter weights, lighter loads. And then the third month, which is December, smaller rep counts, higher loads, singles, or basically not touch and goes, until today, where we're doing singles, and it's 7 singles.
Yeah.
And that gives them the opportunity to work their way up. And we give recommended percentages to build up to that PR weight. The other thing I should say too is when we do this, the strength training, the Metcon that goes along with the strength workout is usually 7 minutes or less.
Yeah, it's small. It's short. And it's like a couplet, a triplet. Sometimes it's a single modality, depending on the workout, because volume is always a factor.
Yeah.
And we want to be impressed with the intensity, not the volume. So beating ourselves up after a heavy workout, heavy lift like the deadlift, that'll smoke your CNS. You don't want to go too long or do too much reps where you're opening yourself up for an injury.
We save our longer Metcons for the off days, away from the strength days, and then Saturdays are usually super long Metcons, which people tend to love. So, but it works out really well. As an affiliate owner, here's why I like this. Here's why I like strength training and having progressions. We keep a PR board at Diablo, a big whiteboard, and it is.
Here it is.
And then we tell our members, or tell our coaches, hey, make sure you have our members, when they PR, put it up on the board, write it on the board, and ring a bell. We got a cool bell that's right next to it, and they ring the bell. But each time they do that, it cements or chisels into their brain the progress that they're making. It is a moment that is identified or delineated with a writing on a board and ringing a bell. And that is, for me as an affiliate owner, essentially a hook into our member that reminds them that what they've been doing in the gym is working for them.
Yeah.
And then they associate it also with Diablo CrossFit. That's very powerful. And it's almost like giving them a little bit of a drug. That's the reward. So they worked hard. The reward is they hit the PR, and then they memorialize that PR by writing it on the board. And then we take a picture, we post it every month. I would highly encourage all affiliates to go through this practice and to have some sort of linear strength training in addition to what they're doing, because it is super powerful, and they get addicted to it. And we have some members that have transitioned over to Olympic lifting for periods of time, just so they can really focus on it, because they find that they're adept at it. It's a particular skill that they have. Andrew, I think of Andrew Lloyd.
Yeah. PR'd this morning.
Yeah, PR'd this morning, probably over 400-pound deadlift, right? So Andrew Lloyd came to Diablo, and his story is on our website. If you go to our website, you can see it. He's lost over 100 pounds. Came to us completely deconditioned, and I think he's in his early 50s. Started with us in his late 40s, completely deconditioned, lost over 100 pounds, made fitness a major priority in his life. Like you see the before and after pictures, and it's remarkable. And he knew that. He said it. He's a beautiful writer, and he wrote about it we republished it. But he said he knew he was on a fast path to death. That it was and it was hereditary within his family, heart disease. And now the guy is deadlifting 400 pounds. Like literally came in here, he probably couldn't have deadlifted 200 pounds.
No.
I doubt it. I'd have to ask
safely.
him.
I mean, he probably could have pulled 200, but I don't know how that would have gone.
And he's back squatting like 365, something like that. Just a remarkable back squat too.
Yeah,
full depth too.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact he could not have back squatted over 150 pounds when he came to this gym.
Yeah,
there's no way. And so those. And he loves the lifts. He does the Metcons. He's made incredible progress. He's incredibly healthy. But it acts as a hook for your member to keep them in your gym and keep them coming back. And then what happens is, here's what happens, especially since if you publish your lifting days, the members start thinking forward to the classes they want to go to. They start planning to come to the gym. I do not want to miss the strength days.
It becomes a priority.
It becomes a priority. It becomes a habit, and it becomes a rewarding habit for them. And it's, again, there's not a lot of tools you can use to keep people coming. You can run great classes. Having lifts, periodized lifts in our programming is one of those things that just is like it's pouring an accelerant on CrossFit. It helps improve fitness for a lot of our members, and it works as an amazing tool to keep them coming back in.
Yeah.
If we were doing traditional CrossFit programming, GPP programming, which is amazing, and it would work just as well if we could keep those members coming on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But it would be very difficult to track things like PRs.
Yeah. Especially when with main site, it's 3 on 1 off.
Right.
So if you have the ability to maintain 3 on 1 off regularly, you'll hit the lifts as they come up.
Yes.
But everybody's schedule is different, especially in an affiliate, right? You've got
that's right.
professionals that may not, doctors, lawyers, whatever, that don't have the ability to come in on a certain day because that day just happens to fall off their schedule. Having something like this where we are consistently working on the same pattern, whether it's a lift, whether it's a gymnastic skill, whether we're working on a monostructural focus, there is a certain amount of consistency there that they will be able to build up and improve over time. That's that part of that physiological adaptation. It takes time of working under tension to make progress.
Yes. And so and your clientele's got basically everybody works. Everybody, many families have kids. One parent staying home. Like it's very, very difficult to establish a regular habit of coming to class. And our members enjoy having a calendar where they can kind of predict at least one component of their fitness, which is in this case the strength training.
Yeah.
And skill training too. Right. Because we do this month is
the skills is another big one. We talked about the physiological adaptation, which is strength and endurance. The neurological adaptation, that's the balance, the coordination, the accuracy. If you want to improve on your snatch, like
those things require practice
under low intensity. So that's one of the things too, that with progressive programming, you are practicing these skills and then beginning to implement them into some form of intensity.
Right.
Which is something we're going to see a lot of going into January with our open prep. We've got a series of gymnastic skills that we've traditionally seen and some potential new ones that we could potentially see. But the idea is to practice these skills under low intensity so that way we can actually adapt to improving the efficiency aspects of it. And then we get to put it into a metabolic workout and actually push the intensity on it.
Yeah, that's cool. It works. People's skills improve as well. So
on the skills with the PRs, I'm looking at the board out there today. And so our skill for this month has been back and forth between handstand push-ups and rope climbs.
Right.
And to see the amount of first rope climbs and first handstand push-ups out there, that's just a testament that the consistency of these progressions are paying off for these
Right.
people.
People don't have double unders primarily because they don't practice them.
No.
And I understand it. It's a pain in the ass. It practice, especially if, you come here, you got your hour, maybe your hour and a half total, and you come and you get warmed up and you do your workout, you're spent, you're just not feeling like practicing. So practice is tough. So having it built into the programming is clearly working.
That's not just part of the workout, but
Right.
having like, when you look at main site programming, you see those skills that are like, holy shit, this is hard. I can't do this. It's intended to be practiced before you go, right?
Right.
And at the same time, scaling and adjusting as necessary is important because we want to still hit that stimulus.
Yeah.
And by practicing and having a designated time to practice that, it just helps.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Just the commitment for us is once a week that we're going to be practicing handstands. And this month, it's
wall-facing handstand push-ups, which is really cool to see people do.
Yeah, it was really cool to see people. Shoulder people, man. They can put damn shit down. And then the open is coming.
Yes.
And we've been trending. Our programming has been leading towards getting people ready for the open. We use the open at our affiliate as twofold. One, a way for members to test their fitness on an annual basis. Two, as a community event to bring people together. We do Friday night lights for the open. And we try to get as many people as possible signed up for the open. We'll do somewhere around 200 people at our box that will sign up for the open. And then the third thing is we do it to support, participate in and support the sport of fitness. And I can go off on a rant I have on several of these podcasts that I think it is really important for affiliates to support the sport of fitness. It is the sport, CrossFit, is a unique and distinguishing characteristic of CrossFit. It is something that other methodologies don't have or can't have. And to be able to have it is really amazing because it's
special.
It's the ultimate manifestation of what we do here in the gym at the highest level. It is our race car.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Well, it's where the race cars race. It's where the race cars race. And I think that's absolutely essential for the longevity and of CrossFit, the methodology, and the affiliate world as well. And we have athletes here that like to participate. And here's the last part. So we like creating fans of the sport. So I want my members to go to the semifinals, which, by the way, in California, they're going to be in Pasadena.
We'll have that it's back in California.
Oh, we have a lot of members that are already talking to me about wanting to go.
Good.
And the CrossFit Games as well. Make them fans and make them want to watch it because, again, it's one more hook in my member. They participate in it, and then I make them fans of the sport. It's like you want to get as many hooks in your members as possible to keep them coming on a regular basis, and that's another way you can do it. Anyway, one more way. During the open is to do an intramural open, which I say with a little bit of dread.
I mean, I think as an affiliate owner, the open is always a little bit of dread. It's unknown. We don't know what's coming.
Right.
B, it can be a big undertaking just depending on like how many people are doing it. When are you planning on doing it? How are you planning on doing it? So there's a lot of different variables there that the affiliate owners are going to want to figure out what's going to be the best way for their community.
It disrupts programming. It disrupts classes.
It disrupts programming if you're not programming for the open.
Right.
I think like when you say that like that, like we've been planning and I mean like this whole last year, we've been working on building up our work capacity. So when the open comes, we are prepared.
Right. Yeah.
So,
but it disrupts the normal flow of
the
things.
Weekly flow.
Weekly flow.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And that is challenging as an affiliate owner. And then if you throw in an intramural open, now you got the owner's going to do the bulk of the work. The owner's going to make sure it goes down. There's going to make sure the event's good. The Friday night lights are good. That everybody's that everybody's happy, that judges are judging correctly, that standards are being held, that scores are being submitted. Thank God it's only 3 weeks. I love the Open, but thank God. And the OGs, remember, were 6 weeks, man. It was 6
2011,
long.
7 weeks, because that first week they screwed up. The
That's right,
website crashed.
Oh yeah,
We got 2 weeks for
man,
11.1.
Man, if the website crashed and they had to redo it now in 2022, there would be riots in the streets now, because the way how upset people get now.
Yeah.
But in 2011, they did. We went an extra week. We let people do the workout
Just because the workout didn't get published like 5 minutes
Oh my
before
God.
it was supposed to go out.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the Open's fun. It really is a great time, and there's just, again, you create just an incredibly memorable experience, and you memorialize workouts and performances in people's minds, and they'll never forget
And
it.
successes.
Yeah. And you create an awesome experience for them, and they'll always associate it with your affiliate. It's an easy win. An intramural open gets more people in and gets everybody involved. And what I like about the intramural open is that because the open is fucking scary for most people.
Yeah.
I get a little nervous with the open.
If you don't get nervous, something's wrong.
Well, yeah, if you don't get nervous, but if you've been doing it for a while, you kind of take that nervousness for granted. It's something you take it for granted. You just kind of don't appreciate how overwhelming that nervousness can be for other people.
Yeah.
Especially newer members.
Yeah.
And Kimmy Snow was one of our members, and she was talking about, the first year last year was the first year she did the Open.
Mm-hmm.
And she literally said she came into the gym, and she'd been doing CrossFit here for over a year. And she said she literally came into the gym, was crying, didn't want to do it. And Jackson was here, and she cornered Jackson, or Jackson saw her, and he got her focused on what she needed to focus and psyched up, and she went out and had an amazing time, an amazing experience. And I think and so we as affiliate owners, we don't recognize that happens. And it's probably happening a lot. People are just sick to their stomach, they don't want to do it, but then when they do it, they're like, oh my God, what an amazing thing. You have to do hard things in life if you really want to, in my mind, you want to kind of value and really appreciate life.
Well, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone is what CrossFit's all about. I mean, coming in to do your first CrossFit workout, it's scary. And when you take it up to a notch where you have a judge judging you and hold you accountable to your standards and your reps,
and people sitting around.
Oh yeah. And you got spectators.
Yeah.
So that's just, again, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, which is only going to help improve that adaptation between the ears. Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, everybody walks away from it feeling very, very rewarded.
Yeah.
An intramural open helps basically mitigate a lot of that anxiety, because now you're coming in and your performance doesn't matter as much as just being there and participating with your team.
Yeah.
And so the scoring system that we're going to use, so we like to do just in terms of team size, and we'll talk about team selection as we get into this, but we like to do teams of 30 to 40. That's a good number, because that gives plenty with a team of 30 to 40 when we can do that, and so I would say if you have a gym of 120 members or 100 members, I would do 2 teams, maybe 3 teams.
Yeah.
You have a gym 200 members and you can get a lot of them signed up. You may want to do 3 teams, maybe 4 teams. And for us, Jamie and I talked about it, and we think 4 teams is probably best. If we get 150 people signed up, 4 teams will work.
That's doable. I mean, we had 100 people at the holiday party.
Right. Well, that's a good point.
You might have close to 200
sign up for the Open. Anyway, so I kind of think that 30 to 40 per team is a good number.
It's a sweet number, yeah.
And then our scoring system for those teams will be we keep it relatively simple in terms of how you earn points, so that members can understand it and know what they have to do. If you complete the CrossFit Games Open workout, believe me, there's people that just won't schedule, whatever else, complete it and submit it online on the CrossFit Games site, not on fucking SugarWOD. Well, but I put it on SugarWOD
or whatever app you're using to track your workouts. It's got to go onto the main game site.
Be on the whiteboard and Sugarwad. Do not report your score to CrossFit.com.
No. And we can't help it with that.
And I laugh about it. And I think, man, that's so dumb. Why would you think that? But to someone that's new to CrossFit, like that's actually a reasonable thought.
I've
like,
heard that so many times, but I thought you guys put it in. I put it in Sugarwad. Like,
right. And that's a reasonable expectation. I got in today's world of technology. That's a reasonable expectation for someone that doesn't know. I say, well, that's how could you not know that? Well, of course they didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, it's Sugarwad's a cool app. It's actually a nicer app than the CrossFit.com app. So I would think
more intuitive,
right? Anyway, so yeah, they've got to complete the workout and they got to submit their score on CrossFit. And what that makes it easy to do is if you're an affiliate owner, then the only place you have to get your data from is the CrossFit Games leaderboard. Yeah, and they distill it down by affiliate. So as you set up, and you can actually set up teams
within the leader, like within your gym's
leaderboard? within your gym's leaderboard as well. But the scoring criteria for teams is only their performance on the workout. Yeah. But anyway, so you're going to pull your data from the CrossFit, all your data from the CrossFit leaderboard. So then you just have to look. Literally, what I did is I copy and paste. I pull up the leaderboard Diablo CrossFit. I copy it and then I paste it into a Google Sheets. Yeah, and then I clean up the data. There's a little bit of data cleanup, but it comes out pretty good. And then participation in the Friday Night Lights event. We give a point. So everybody that participates in Friday Night Lights checks into class, gets a point. So that encourages people because ultimately my goal is to get everybody to come to the Friday Night Lights where it's just an amazing event,
part of the
awesome
community,
experience, part of the community. And that's easy to track. We use MindBody software. I just make people check into MindBody that night.
Just like they would a class.
Just pull up the class list and there's the people's names. Again, I use Google Sheets. And then and you can do if you know how to do queries or searches, you can just have it, once you put the raw data in, it can go grab the data and tell you if that person was there or not. It's pretty easy to do. One of the things, let me insert this in this whole process, have someone that's good at spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Find someone in your community that is willing to do a little extra work and really knows how to do spreadsheets. First of all, if you find that person, they love to do spreadsheets. And if you challenge them with this data, they'll take it and they'll have a blast with it. I had people when we, in 2018 was, and we're going to talk about that, but 2018 was our big year. And I just remember Myra Cairns, who's a spreadsheet nut. I think she's CPA, but I don't know, but she's definitely a bookkeeper because she's damn good with spreadsheets. She kept bugging me. Let me do it. And I love spreadsheets too. I'm not quite as good as other people, but anyway, find someone that's good at spreadsheets because that helps a lot. So one workout for the Friday night participation, and then we give points for performance. But the points for performance, you and I talked about this, are basically, and I think we'll do the same thing. Or maybe we'll do top 5. But we give a point if you are in the top 3 or top 5 men and women.
Just a single point? Or are we going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
I think we just, what we'll do is I think we'll do a test.
Okay.
And kind of see what it looks like if we did it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It looks like we did a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1
for 2018.
Maybe it wasn't. Yeah. For 2018, we did top 3.
Yeah, and
we did top 3 men and women, and then we had top 3 scaled and top 3 masters.
That's right.
And it was scored.
It was just scored 1 point.
Yeah, it was just scored 1 point.
Yeah. Why don't you show what you're looking at?
Oh yeah, sorry. Here we go. This is what our thing is looking like from 2018.
Right. And so essentially we give a point for the top 3 of each category. Now, one of the things we are not going to do is we're not going to separate masters. We're not going to give, if you're top 3 masters. Some gyms just don't have enough masters to like compete against each other. Here's the other thing is that masters have scaling already built into their workouts. And so, and what that means essentially is they can compete head to head. So as against your open athletes.
Mhm.
So if I go and I'm in the 60 to 65 category, I'm so scaled in the 60 to 65 category, chances are my score is probably going to be close to what the top open athletes are going to be in our gym.
And we use the example of 2020,
Oh, that's
Alessandra
right.
Pacelli and Yvonne Howard were like, Sandy was just outside of Yvonne's
Yeah.
score, but that was based off of the scale
Right.
of like the weights that they had to move or the pattern that they had adjusted to.
That's right. So we got so we give a point if you end up in the top 3 men, top 3 women. And we just allow the masters to fall out where they may in that mix. In the in your leaderboard for your gym, on the CrossFit leaderboard, we'll
Shuffle that
yeah,
out.
we'll
for
shuffle
you.
that out
Yeah.
for you. Then here is one thing that we do is we give a point for the top 3 scaled
Mhm.
men and women. And that's kind of cool because
Keeps them going.
yeah, it keeps
Gives
them
them
going.
something to work
Oh, yeah.
towards.
We actually one of the things we had to police, and you will have to police some stuff when you do an intramural open.
Mhm.
But one of the things we had to police was RX athletes doing it scaled.
Oh
Remember?
yeah,
Remember?
yeah. No sandbagging in this. This is the open. You're still participating for yourself. Well, I understand there might be easy points for you, but
Right.
you will be exposed.
Yeah. Last year, actually, outside of the intramural open, I actually had almost an argument with a member who insisted that she was upset. She said she would have done much better on the workout had she done it scaled. She did it RX because she could, and she goes, I didn't do as many rounds and reps. And so she felt like she didn't do as well, and she felt like it might have affected her on the leaderboard. And I said, okay, the way the CrossFit leaderboard works is the last RX person is the first scaled person, right? Or placed on top of the first scale, and then everybody else that comes below. But because their numbers were bigger,
Yeah.
like she was having a hard. And I get it. Like,
No, it
again,
makes total sense.
yeah.
But it goes back to the old saying Glassman had: be impressed with intensity, not volume.
That's right.
And if you scale just to get more reps, that's going the opposite direction of what that saying is.
That's right. Yeah. So it's so anyway, so we give top scaled men, top scaled women. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do masters. Here's the other thing. This is a really important one as you do scoring. And this was one of those ones we discovered kind of happenstance, and it produced amazing results for us in the intramural open. It was huge.
Not just intramural, but for the open in general.
Well, that's right. Is
just in general.
Is giving points for the top 5 judges. Right. So the top 5 individuals with the most athletes judged get an extra point for their team.
Yeah.
And we put that in there with the idea of trying to incentivize people, because judges, you guys know, Friday Night Lights especially, you don't want to rely on your coaches for judging. You want the members to be judging.
Yeah.
We require anybody that's going to judge. Actually, we try to get everybody.
Yeah.
We require anybody that's judging to have the judge's certification. But what's really cool is this became a big deal.
Yeah. People were like fighting over heats so they could judge.
So they could judge.
Awesome.
So we would, how we structured it is we put 3 classes on Friday Night Lights, like at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock class. Actually, I think we started
It started like 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5 and 6 p.m. But anyway, we do that. People would sign in. That group of people, that 30 or 40 people that signed into that 5 o'clock class, let's call it, would come in. But then we had a big whiteboard there.
Mm-hmm.
And you would essentially assign yourself to a heat within that hour.
Yeah.
So anywhere from 3 to 4 heats per hour.
Based on whatever the workout is, the time
right,
domain we have.
So we would have these heats, blank spots for these heats. And then next to the blank spot for the heat was also another line for the judge.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times when you would walk over to that board, the person that was kind of running the entire event would walk over to the board to look at the heats, and all the judges' spots would be full, and the athlete spots would be open.
Still waiting. Like we've got excess of judges, which is a great problem.
That is an amazing problem to have, is people fighting to judge it, because they knew that was a difference maker.
It was a difference maker, but it also, I think they understand that, like, how much help that is to get through this thing. I mean, we can't put these events on without volunteers and judges. Like, that's just feel like that's just how it is, whether it's at the games, competitions, it's just having people around to be a part of it.
And then all of a sudden those individuals, and while they may not perform as well as athletes and they know they're not going to, they become desired people, and people want them and seek them out for judging. And it just creates creates a sense of another level of community within your community that's pretty freaking cool.
A little bit of ownership in that too, right?
And look, it's not surprising when we do the drafts for the teams, which we'll talk about in a second, is people to try and draft the top judges right away, because that person's going to be a point earner for your team. Easy points. We give 3 points each week to the person that best represents the spirit of the Open. And that's an arbitrary decision that we, all come together with Jamie Lee and maybe 1 or 2 other coaches that were there at the event. And we'll talk about who do we think deserves the spirit of the Open, so that we try to do it as unbiased as possible. And it's usually really damn obvious who that person is. And it's kind of cool. And then the other thing we have done in the past, we can talk about it, is giving a point when someone gets a PR, personal record. Now, Jamie and I had a little bit of debate over this, is because it's kind of a pain in the ass. And how we scored it, we had them write on their
score sheet,
PR. So if they PR'd something, they wrote PR and they circled it. And so then we would give that team a point. We had to go through those sheets manually.
Which you do anyways, because you submit and validate the scores. You do. Right.
That's right.
That way you're also tracking to see who judged them. So that way we can, keep track of how many judged athletes. I mean, how many people judged people. But the problem is with the PR aspect is what's consisted of PR. Is it your first double under? Is it your first pull up, or whatever it is?
Is it your 6 rep deadlift max? So I think, and what Jamie said is, I think ahead of time, we will determine,
once the workout is announced, we'll be able to determine what is acceptable to be a PR
for that
event. Even if it's a repeat, that makes it an easy repeat PR option.
Sure.
Right.
And then the other one would be, I love first pull-ups. I love first toe to bars, first ring muscle up, first bar muscle up. Those things are cool. A single rep clean and jerk, or a single rep snatch, or a single rep deadlift
for a max load or something like that
are great. So but it is important to put that criteria out for PRs, otherwise you'll get people and they do it in a lot of times to fun, like they want as many points as possible. And so these teams will push the edge of the envelope, which means that people are taking it serious and they're having a lot of fucking fun.
Which is good.
But we did have to rein in.
It got a little, it's like, okay, where is this PR?
So but anyway, so now let's talk about, I guess the next thing I wanted to talk about, in terms of organization,
building the teams.
So the first thing you need to do is, like, you need to announce it now or into the first week. Now is a good time to at least start planning it, which is why we're talking about it now. I mean, to really start it all out, you got to figure out who's leading each team. That's right.
Right. So we need team captains. And what we're doing is we're going to have a coach and a member. Doesn't mean that you are going to have to do this. If you're doing this at your own affiliate, it could be 2 coaches. It depends on what you want to do to it. But what we like to do is we'll have a coach and a member leading that team, which will then lead into the draft.
And the draft, how we've done it in the past, we've done pick names out, put everybody's names in the gym that's going to participate, that's registered for the Open. We put their names in a hat, and you just go through and draw the names on a hat. Unfortunately, that
kind of backfired, I feel, a little bit. It did. Just because you're at chance of ending with a couple really heavy hitter athletes
on the same team,
or even gaining a couple social butterflies together, which then makes one team heavily social.
Heavily social, but also they try and game it, they figure it out. So you want to disperse your talent and your community people evenly. You want to disperse your judges evenly. The people that are going to do the most judging. And the way to do that is to put I think the first thing and then what we're going to do is we'll take our top athletes in our gym, our competition athletes, and every gym knows who those people are.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches and top athletes, put those people in a pool, and then allow the team's captains to draft them. And we'll bring everybody together either on Zoom or we'll do it here at the gym. And we'll essentially do some sort of roll the dice or something, flip a coin,
figure out who's drafting first.
Figure out the draft order.
Yeah.
So once you figure out the draft order, whatever way you figure out the draft order, we did a snake, what they call a snake draft, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that way the person that's the last in the draft gets at least two.
Gets the first pick on the second round.
Gets the first pick on the second round, essentially. That's right. That's a cool way to do it. And so we'll do that, and then we'll have them go through and pick the names that they want to pick. And in there, we'll let them pick either the names in the hat, I think, which are the RX Plus athletes, the pool, where I will have those names up.
So the RX athletes are coming in like by random, by pulling them out?
No, they can choose who they want on their team.
Draft straight. I want so and so. Okay.
Yeah. So they'll draft so, and then they can choose that person, or they can choose someone from the community
that's also heavily judged or has some big lifts or heavy skill gymnastics.
That's right.
You could always have somebody that can be a star for that week.
And we'll keep going until we get all of the RX Plus names or the competition athletes drawn. And maybe a little bit further if the teams want to go a little bit further into the community to pull names.
So I had a thought instead of just putting people, I think the pool should be those that are registered, because we're doing this like the week before the open begins, right? Right. Last time we talked about it was like on February 11th or something like that. So ultimately, this is a chance to kind of help rally people to register for the open,
right?
Because then they go into that pool, and then as the coaches that are drafting, they can pick a RX Plus athlete that's going to be a heavy hitter for that team, or they can pick a good judge. They have play it however they want to, but then they have that whole pool of the community based off of who is registered,
right?
And then if you register after the draft happens, then we're going to go to
sequential, just basically
following that same
start assigning them to the teams.
Okay.
Start assigning them to the teams. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So the draft can be fun, and we have had fun with the draft.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a public draft to the entire community. The only reason being is that no one likes to be picked last. No one likes to hear the discussion. You want the draft amongst the team captains to be fun and entertaining.
Kind of gets that, that excitement going too.
Yeah, it does.
Because those that are leading these teams, they got to know the community.
Yeah,
because they got to know who they're picking.
Right.
And it's really going to be a fun time just getting excited for what's to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Then plan your Friday night lights
or Saturday main event or whatever you want to do. Just figure out what day you're doing it, and then designate that's the day that you're going to be able to collect scores for your team.
And I would have a kind of a session with the captains once a week, just like a few minutes,
debrief or something.
Yeah, debrief, here's what, you want them to do, need them to do. And what's cool is then you've got now 4 managers essentially that are helping you run these intramural opens. And then we do a party on the last one. So we turn the last one into a big event, and people are already bugging me about maybe doing a barbecue kind of thing.
I just got a crazy idea to add another scoring opportunity. Theme. We did theme last year. If you show up with a themed aspect, whatever the theme is, maybe it's an extra point or half a point.
Yeah, the problem is, again, so we start adding points like that, it gets difficult.
It
gets difficult to track. Okay, it was, our theme was tie-dye, and some guy wore tie-dye socks. Does he get a point?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right. Like, it's just like, I'm not going tie-dye head to toe to lose a point to some bro that's got tie-dye socks only.
Touche. Touche. But then you have a chance for the spirit.
I do like, though, we do like doing themes.
Yes.
For each week. Like adds another level.
It's fun.
Yeah. So, you can do it as, ski party, you can do it pajamas, you can do tie-dye, you can do neon.
Yeah. We did tie-dye, neon, and sport.
Yeah, sporting teams. Sporting teams.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things you can do for themes. You can make it a lot of fun. You don't have to, but the members sure do seem to enjoy the themes.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are the things that we're planning on doing. And if you're an affiliate and you want to plan something, just start working on that, working out those details now.
So we'll one of the things we will do is we'll publish as many of these documents as possible.
Yeah.
We'll put it in a blog post on PRsAllDay's website,
And we'll tag a link to that on this video.
Yeah, a link to this. Oh, and to this video.
This video to that.
Okay, post, good. Yeah. That's a good idea. So look for that in a couple days. And then I think that was really all that I wanted to talk about. Oh, we did. The only other thing we were going to talk about is Tia Toomey's pregnant. Holy crap, that's amazing.
What about this thing on your head?
Oh yeah, road royalty. Yeah, well, let's talk about Tia.
Tia is a huge
yeah,
PR for her. I guess.
Yeah, PR for her. No, it really is just kind of a neat thing. But I mean, I don't know. That woman is just absolutely remarkable. She's an incredible athlete. But now she announces she's pregnant, or I should say, and now announces she's pregnant, which is just like another amazing thing for CrossFit and CrossFit community and the world of CrossFit the sports. I mean, Annie Thorsdottir and Cara Webb, like they already kind of broke ground here, but but to have that happen, like it's like your sister or your cousin or your someone in your family having a baby. It's like someone in our family is having a baby and everyone's excited about it. And it's like 500,000 likes on her post. It's just really a cool thing.
Yeah.
And it's a really remarkable thing about, the women like Annie Thorsdottir and Cara Webb who were able to come back from
and
basically 9 months of lesser training at lower volumes and lower intensities and then still make it back to the pinnacle of guys, I don't know.
I mean, we say lesser training, lesser volume, but it's different because I mean, their bodies are going through some serious changes, and fuck, that could be hard.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's they're better them than us because I wouldn't be back. But anyway, it's really a remarkable thing, and it's really neat to see within the CrossFit community. And congratulations to them, and I love that they're doing it and taking a year off, whether she comes back or not, it doesn't matter. It's just an awesome thing.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is road royalty, which is something that Diablo CrossFit started back in 2012 as an inter-gym kind of throwdown challenge amongst our members to see who the best person on the rower was. And we did 3 or 4 events, and then we put it all on a spreadsheet. It's now grown to a international competition. It's in something like 40 countries. We have gold medalists participating. It's really remarkable event. But what's cool about it with respect to the Open is that we announce the workouts on Thursdays, and you have to have the workout done by Monday, and it's just rowing. There's nothing else. It's just rowing. It's a rowing workout.
You don't have to film anything. You just have to take a picture.
Monitor, which
input the workout correctly into the monitor, so we get the right score back.
No, it's empirical proof. I mean, it's right there that you can't screw it up when it's on the monitor, because the monitor has a date, and Concept 2 could test the monitor to see that it was done actually on that date, which is kind of cool. If we needed to, we've never had to do that. Here's the other cool thing is that the competition is based on height. So we have height categories, so tall and not so tall. So we call it standard and tall. Which is a distinguishing characteristic of the rower. Taller people do better on the rower. So we have height categories, which has gone over very well in the rowing community, because I didn't think it would, because in traditional rowing, it's based on weight class. And so you get tall people that lose a lot of weight to try and get the lower weight classes.
We don't want anybody having to cut weight for this.
Right. So this is cool. You do it based on height. So we have height categories. Anyway, it's 4 weeks. So you'll be done 2 weeks before the Open.
It's a great time to kind of just practice getting those nerves out. Here's your workout, get it done, submit it, going through that process. Because like you said before, when you forget to submit your score before the workout, it's
sucks. It's cool. You get in the mode and you get an awesome workout. You learn a little bit about intensity on the road. You learn a little bit about the erg itself
yeah.
and how to program it. There's some cool programming that we do
Yeah.
with it. And again, it's a worldwide competition. We have age groups as well. So
9 different scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
4 workouts.
4 workouts, but 9 different scores that
Yeah.
are available.
Yeah.
It's really a neat deal. Anyway, go to roadroyalty.com, which is roadroyalty.com, and you'll
We'll add a link to this video also, so easy to find.
and register. And it's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. So that's it. That was commercial. So anything else?
That's it for today.
All right, we'll
That's
talk.
it for this
We'll
week.
see you on. Our goal is to be there again on Monday. We
With
screwed
the
up
audio on point.
with audio on point. So we'll see you next Monday.
All right. See you
Cheers.
guys.